Good morning, Dickens and Gators, and welcome to Graham News. My name is Katie Hardesty, and today my group and I will be covering topics going on in the U.S. today, as well as diving into India's economic situation. To start off, we'll be moving over to Jessica and Aleda, who will be discussing GDPs, employment rates, and inflation.
Thank you, Katie, and welcome Graham News. How are you today, Aleda?
I am doing fine. How are you, Jessica?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. And just like Katie said, today we'll be diving into a couple of topics.
As of this month, the USA's economy continues to follow a strong expansionary growth path, supported by healthy employment, income growth, consumer spending, and a strong productivity drive that is helping control inflationary pressures. We expect these positive results to carry into 2025, but the possibility of lower immigration and important tariffs will present inflationary growth risk in the second half of the year, leading us to foresee our GDP accelerating from 2.8% to 2.4% in 2025. And although our unemployment rate seems to be doing fine this year, due to past hurricanes and multiple labor strikes, carried into the month of November, with MSNBC News reporting that 227,000 jobs were created, but unemployment rate still went up 0.1%, and now we're sitting at a 4.25% unemployment rate.
Additionally, inflation rates continue to fluctuate based on what is happening in the economy. Comparing the U.S. 22 inflation rate, which was sitting at 9.1%, which shows us that the U.S. was experiencing an extreme expansion with an average unemployment rate of 4%. Over the span of 2 years, the U.S. has worked to bring the economy back to equilibrium. As of June 2024, the inflation rate was 3%. The decrease in inflation by 6.1% is a significant change in 2 years. Currently, the U.S. is experiencing a somewhat expansion, with it being 2.7%, which is slightly higher than the yearly average goal. In 2024, the U.S. is showing qualities of going through an expansion, though the only qualities being inflation, while the GDP and the unemployment rate is sitting at an average percentage. And now moving over to Kayla.
Hello, my name is Kayla, and today we'll dive into the world of monetary policy, a crucial tool the central bank uses to manage the economy. But recently, the Federal Reserve recalibrates monetary policy as inflation recedes. With a 0.25% cut in the federal funds target rate in November, the Federal Open Committee continues to recalibrate U.S. monetary policy. The latest rate cut follows September's 0.50% cut. Defense fund target rate, the rate bank change each other for overnight lending that also tends to influence consumer interest rates. It is currently set at 4.50% to 4.75%, when the neutral rate of inflation is 2%. And now moving back to Aleda and Jessica.
Just kidding. And now we're moving over to Haiti.
Good morning, I'm Haiti Martinez, and today we explore how mass deportation could reshape America's housing market. Undocumented immigrants play a critical role in the U.S. construction industry, especially in jobs like sheetrock and framing. Workers like Dwight Garcia, who overstayed his tourist visa in 2019, are integral to building homes in places like New York City. Garcia says they take on the hard, dangerous work that no one else wants to do. While former President Trump blamed undocumented workers for the nation's housing affordability crisis, experts argue mass deportation could actually make things worse. Frost, a senior at Harvard for housing studies, says immigrants help meet housing demand by not only increasing competition for homes, but also expanding the supply through their critical role in construction. The National Association of Home Builders estimates the country needs 1.5 million new homes, but with over 280,000 construction jobs open, a labor shortage is already a problem. Although recent Federal Reserve interest rate cuts offer some relief to prospective home buyers, experts warn that rising construction costs and a lack of affordable homes could still keep housing out of reach for many Americans. The removal of immigrant labor could worsen an already strained market, driving up both the cost of home buying and the national housing shortage. That's all for now. Back to you.
Welcome back, Gators.
And now moving to global economics. Globally, the economic outlook remains steady, with this year's global GDP growth to rise from 3.1 to 3.2%, signalizing modest but consistent improvement across many economies. However, some regions are facing insignificant economic setbacks.
For instance, India's economy has faced significant challenges. As of 2023, India's GDP was sitting at 8.1%, but surprisingly, the percentage of GDP growth declined to a 5.4%. Normally, in the US, the average growth is expected is 4 to 5%, but in India, their expected GDP growth is 7%. This indicates that India is currently experiencing a recession, and at the rate their GDP is declining, if it continues, they could face a deeper economic downfall. If the Indian economy continues to underpay employees, cut back on government spending, and rise consumer prices, further putting them in unfortunate situations, this will cause unemployment rates to skyrocket, leading to weaker economic recovery.
Although India is facing these economic struggles, rural spending is expected to help achieve some level of growth in 2025. And now moving back to Katie.
Thank you, Dickens and Gators, for joining us today on Graham News. That's all we have, folks.